Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about my interview experience at Mumbai Consulate. A couple weeks back, I posted another video on this channel about the biometrics process and what my experience was in the Hyderabad Consulate. And in this one, I'm going to be sharing my interview experience. So now, first of all, let's talk about the documents that you need to be carrying. There are like fixed set of mandatory documents that you should always carry. First being your passport. Carry your most recent passport, and if you have multiple passport, the passport at least the one that was before the most recent one. Second, carry your DS-160 confirmation page, and this should be the one that was stamped during the biometrics process. And then also carry your appointment confirmation, and other documents depends on the nature of your work, like where you work and what kind of work you do, and all those supporting documents is something that you should be carrying. Now let's talk about the timing. It's advised you reach not more than 1 hour before your slot. For example, my slot was at 9:20 in the morning, so I reached there at around 8:15, 8:30, and there was a huge queue, a huge number of people waiting outside the embassy for their chances. And the process generally is they will ask you to wait outside the embassy itself, and once your slot comes, maybe like 15 minutes or the 20 minutes before your actual slot, they would ask you to form a line. Once that line is formed, that's when you actually starts to enter inside the embassy. So they are going to be checking the sticker that was put behind your passport during the biometrics process. So they'll scan it and they would authenticate you against like whether this is the correct passport that you should be entering with. Post that, there's security that happens, and this is like the normal security you have at airport as well. You take out all your electronic items, place it, and then scan all of those, and then you yourself get checked as well. Note that there are also locker facilities available right before you go through security, so that's where you could be placing your phones, or if you have any gadget, you have any electronic item there. Please be advised that do not carry any sort of big bag there, because there's no enough space or enough size, big size locker where you could be placing your bags. So just carry the bare minimum documents and bare minimum electronic item. It's not the end of the world if you do not carry your watch, just saying. So post the security, they check your documents again, and when I say document, I'm just referring to the passport itself, because at least for me, as far as I can recall, there was no stage or no phase where my document other than passport was checked. Like the passport had the sticker, and that was where all the information was anyway barcoded, so none of my other documents were checked. So once you go through the security, and then there's separate line, like you could be going for English, and I believe they also had options if you would want to go for Gujarati or if you want to go for Hindi, and there were separate queues for those. Since I was English, I did not have to wait that long. I just entered inside the main area, and let me tell you, the whole ambience there was quite chaotic. Not because people were running here and there, but it's because of the huge amount of noise. There were like 40 booths where visa officers were sitting, and they were asking questions, then people were replying, people were moving. So it's like a whole chaotic situation there. There was staff that was helping people around and asking them to form particular queues and where they should be heading to. But again, it was quite chaotic there. Suppose that there's a line for your document verification. Again, they would take your passport and they would check if there's anything different in your passport than what you have in other documents, and then they'll ask you to go for finger verification. So then there's a separate queue for finger verification. You place for fingers and get it checked, and post that is when you actually wait for your line. And let me also tell you one thing, even if you have chosen English as your visa interview language while filling the form, you have every right to get it changed there. So you could just say, okay, I want to go for Hindi or I want to go for Gujarati, and then they would ask you to wait in those particular queues as well. Then there were people who are going to be telling you which booth you have to go. So there's like 40 out of the 40 booths that they had, 30 had 30 were the booth where actual visa interview was being taken. So like they ask you to form a line for a particular booth based on the vacancies and slots that they have. You stand there and wait for your turn, and once your turn comes, you go ahead, greet the visa officer, and they're going to be doing it first, and then they'll ask for your passport, and then the interview process starts. Now let's talk about the questions that were asked. So questions depend on what is the nature of your work, why do you want to apply for that visa, and what are your plans looking like. I do not recall all set of questions that were asked to me, but one of the questions that was asked was like, why do you want to visit United States? where do I work, and what's the experience I have in my current organization, what's the total experience I have. So they are basically trying to evaluate whether you are even experienced enough to be able to go to United States. And then, because if I am saying I'm going there for business reasons, do I have enough experience in Microsoft, for example, to be going for a business meeting? So they're trying to evaluate you on that thing. Plus then they also like looked at my passport, and I had like quite a number of stamps there, so they were asking which all countries I've been to, and why did I go to country A, why did I go to country B. So all those cross questioning happens. And post that, I think it did last for a minute or two. I mean, because since I was actually in the moment, I don't really recall like how much time the whole process took, but I don't think it was more than 3 minutes, because 3 minutes is a lot of time once you are actually facing an interview. So post answering all my questions, he was impressed with my answers, and he said, congratulations, your visa is approved and you're going to be getting your passport back after these many days. And yeah, then you exit, and yeah, that's pretty much the whole process. It's pretty smooth. The only area that was chaotic was actually like just in the hall where the visa interviews were happening because of all the noises. But other than that, it's a pretty smooth experience, and you just have to be confident. You just have to answer whatever they're asking for. You do not say more, you do not say less. Say what is actually required. Nobody is expecting you to say paragraphs there. So that was the process.